Oh,
What the?
gosh. What is going on, everybody? We finally made it work. We had a little bit of tech issues. We're used to doing these things like from individual houses. Now we had to kind of make it so we've got the chat over here. We've got one phone going over here. We don't need mics. So we're just kind of figuring it out. But welcome to the Radpack Pod. We are live at Justin.
Weekend in Justin. The long weekend.
Please let us know in the chat if we sound okay or if we need to adjust something. This is a new situation for us, so hit me up. I'm watching.
Yeah, so we see Mel looking over here. She's in charge of the chat, so she can start pulling things up and answering questions. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today. We want to try to keep this pretty short and sweet because we do have more events that we want to try to go to today. It's been a crazy, crazy weekend at Panic Fest. So that's why last night didn't happen. We apologize for that because we were at Panic Fest. Scout Taylor's Compton showed up to debut her new movie. Barbara Crampton was there doing like what would they call it? Crampton-thon?
Cramptonathon.
Cramptonathon. So we stayed there last night to kind of check that out. We were with KB as well. So you check this out. This is the Radpack Purple KB exclusive T-shirt, which is available now. And if you guys want to pick it up. So, KB, thank you, man. We've been hanging with him all weekend. We'll probably hit him back up today. But, guys, we did it.
We made it.
We did it.
I can't believe we made it happen, and we did. It's been amazing. We have a lot to talk about. Cool events, guests, movies. Yeah, it was an absolute blast, man. I'm so glad you guys are here in the Playhouse.
I mean, that's the one thing I think that that I really, like, am amped up about this because we had mentioned it kind of in passing of like, hey, let's try to go there and do this. And we made it work. And there's not a lot of people that are able to do that, which is awesome because I had to fly here. She had a long drive ahead of her. So it's just crazy that we're able to just kind of say it and then just have it come through. So very, very cool. And guys, we have giveaways here and stuff that we're going to do today. We told you to do a review on the podcast. And if you did, we'll put you in a little bell wheel and, we'll pick a couple winners. We're going to pick 6 winners that are going to get some exclusive posters here, 11 by 14 posters. And because they're so exclusive is because I don't know when or if or we're ever going to do this kind of thing again. So they're all signed up for everybody. So they're definitely going to be pretty limited because I don't know another time that, we can try to make this happen anytime soon. So, guys, if you want, Mel, let us know who is in the house. And we'll say what's up.
Roll call, physical mediatic.
What's going on?
Adrian James, Basement Blues, Tim Talk Stockies. Brent Madison.
What's up, Brent? Tony.
Meredith Media.
What's up, Shell?
It ain't no butterflies.
What's going on, man?
Colin.
What's up, Home Notes?
There's Nick.
Nick AV, what's up? Physical Media Collector Hall of Famer right there.
That's right.
Congratulations, nerd. We got Fish.
What's up, Fish?
The Zombie Family. Hey, hey.
What's going on?
Sorry if I miss anybody. I'm just trying to roll through these. Rocket Roger, what's up, dude?
Well, I'm just happy everybody was able to make it after we had like Garrett said, we had no idea that the whole Cramptonathon was like going on late in the night. Then they did the surprise drop on Scout. So then we had to have a pack meeting and say we're gonna have to push the stream because there's just too much going on.
Yeah, that's
We
basically
legitimately leaned over and we were like, we need to have a pack meeting outside right now.
Yeah, because we wanted to see this movie Bury the Bride, which we'll talk about. But we were like, do we go stream really quick and then come back? And we just didn't want to cram it in. We wanted to have a good, relaxed stream to be able to chat with everybody and be able to talk about the whole. And it actually, now we can talk about the whole kind of weekend as a whole because Mel's getting ready to take off here in a little bit. So this is the last kind of hurrah for the Radpack being in town. I can't believe how smoothly this trip went. Like somehow everything worked out perfectly with your drive. You didn't have any delays on your flight. We got to see every single movie that we wanted to see. We watched 4 movies yesterday in a row. Well, I've never watched that many movies in one day.
I haven't either. That was amazing.
Right? I fell asleep a couple times.
I think we all had, at least me, I had a couple times where I dozed off for like a second or so because, especially on Friday because I was up at 3 a.m. and to catch my flight and you know, it was just a long day. So we were out to watch Evil Dead Rise at like 10:45 at night.
Yeah.
So we were exhausted on Friday night. And like Justin said, like we had yesterday we were watching From Beyond, and then the plan was to leave, come here and do the stream with you guys. And then all of a sudden Barbara Crampton, they were doing like a double feature with her, and then the scout thing happened. And it was funny because, what's up, Christian? Mel looks over at me and she goes, pack meeting. And I'm like, okay.
I love having
Well, you guys came all this way, and there's this cool shit happening. As much as we wanted to do the chat or the stream, you know, you guys drove all this way to see these movies, and we wanted to see some cool shit, and we did. We had a couple. I had a couple starstruck moments. I'm not afraid to admit it. We'll get into that.
We'll go through each individual thing now. But what I want to just thank you all
There's
for.
KB. What's
KB, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
We're going to talk a lot about KB on the stream as well. He's been awesome down here. He actually is, between him and Justin, they were the two that really kind of pushed this whole thing to happen for this event. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. But I'm really amped to see how many people are coming. Like, that's what we even said yesterday. We're like, we can push it to tomorrow, like lunchtime. But I'm like, if nobody comes and checks it out live, at least they'll watch the replay. But there's a lot of people in here right now, considering it's a Sunday afternoon. So I thank you guys for popping in and checking this out. Hopefully you can hang with us, because we're going to recap the whole weekend, and then we'll kind of talk about, you know, the giveaways and stuff. I see what movie.
What's up, Ghosty?
It's a Radpack brunch stream.
We should have had food.
Some food.
I know.
We just ate a
I
lot.
kind of like streaming during the day like this. It's kind of cool.
Then you have the whole night ahead.
Yeah, you just get to, it's nice and casual. People have their coffee and watch the pack. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so what's up, son, man? Let's run through the weekend here. So we showed up Friday, and then we headed down to Panic Fest and talk about Panic Fest a little bit, because you're here, you've been before. So just kind of give a rundown about like what this whole event is.
Yeah, so this is the 11th annual Panic Fest. Takes place in Kansas City at a theater called Screenland Armor. It's a theater that's been around for decades. It's been forever. It's been a couple different theaters, but now it's Screenland. It's a locally owned, locally ran theater. This is the 11th year of Panic Fest. So there's directors, writers, filmmakers, producers, actors. They all come here and congregate in the city, and then a bunch of us nerds come and do it. So they have online movies, in theater movies, and we all got the passes, so we were able to pretty much run in there and have the run of the place and get to see any movie we wanted.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because celebrities will just kind of pop in. And I was saying this to Justin, and I'm used to going to conventions, right, where you get in line to meet a celebrity and they have a fee, and if you want a picture, it's something extra. This is wild, because they're just mingling amongst, you know, this crowd of people and taking pictures with everybody
and watching the movies with us. Like we were watching From Beyond, and Barbara Crampton and Joe Lynch are just sitting in the crowd, and they're mingling and going to the bar. It's just everybody's kind of a big. It really does have like kind of a family aspect.
Yeah,
Everybody's just
very cozy.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of a small theater, so in between movies it gets a little packed. It's a little chaotic, but
Justin
it's all love.
Outside for a second.
Yeah, I sometimes I'm like, there's a lot of people right here, and I need to catch some air. But so we knew we had to pack in this. We had to kind of be very strategic, because sometimes there'll be two good movies playing at the same time, and you got to decide which movie you're going to see. And like I said, we saw 4 movies yesterday. So movies are running from, you know, the morning to night. So yesterday we saw
Friday.
So Friday.
And the thing with these movies too, the thing with the movies too, I guess, are like, we're seeing these movies first.
Right.
Like, these are movies
None
that
of these
we're
have been
probably
released
going
yet.
to will be out maybe later this year or something. So we're able to kind of check these out first, and you know, it's a gamble on which ones we choose, because we don't know much of anything about these movies. So it's kind of like, this kind of sounds cool, and let's check it out. Or, hey, this actor's in here, so let's check this out. So, you know, you're going to get our opinions really quick on what we've seen and what you guys can expect. And Friday started off with the first one that we saw, and I don't remember the name right away.
It's called Walking Against the Rain. So it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic. It's very low budget. The description made it sound like it was going to be kind of two people wandering this apocalyptic world, and there was just going to be tons and tons of monsters and creatures and kills. And it ended up just being a lot of two people crying and talking on a walkie-talkie.
It was very focused on character building.
Yeah.
And not so much on like the monster aspect.
Uh-oh. Sorry, I'm turning off.
This is the Justin situation.
This
We're-
is
we're
the
leading
Justin
it here.
lifestyle.
We're learning the Justin lifestyle right now.
There's been a lot of this weekend.
The heater kicked on. It's gonna. So yeah. So the very first movie we saw, I think we can all say we were like, okay, we're off to a little bit of a rough start with this one. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was just a little boring. And KB ended up seeing a movie that's going to be a Shudder exclusive premiering soon. The other movie that was playing at that same time was a movie called Brooklyn 45.
Okay.
Which will be premiering on Shudder soon. I'm not sure when. I think later this year. He enjoyed that one a lot. So the first movie, Walking Against the Rain, was kind of a miss in my opinion.
What else did you saw Sisu as well Friday?
You
night,
saw a
right?
movie called Sisu, which is like a John Wick.
We kind of like look at it and we were like, that's probably the one we should have chosen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish we would have chosen a little different movie. But you don't know because you just go online and you read the synopsises of these movies or you watch some of the trailers and then you just gotta base your decision off that and you either pick a good one or you pick a bad one. I didn't think Walking Against the Rain was terrible.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a sleeper.
Yeah. That's what's interesting about it because you're not going to see like destination movies. Well, I mean, there was a couple we knew that we wanted to see, Evil Dead, and that, but everything else is pretty much a blind movie that hasn't been released. You don't know anything about it. Directors and actors who you might not know about. So it is kind of fun. It's about discovering new movies and discovering movies before they've been established. So we saw the first one was Walking Against the Rain, and then we had the big one of the weekend, and that was.
And we saw
Evil Dead Rise.
Evil Dead Rise. We get to see that about a week early. It's going to come out next week. We did a small little, out of the theater reaction you can find on our socials. KB was with us when we did that because he was with us and watched Evil Dead Rise. And, going into it, I was pretty excited. Usually I tell people I go in with zero expectations on most things nowadays just because I feel like I get more disappointed than not if I go in with high hopes. I went into this one with pretty high expectations because both Mel and Justin had said, like, the Evil Dead with Sam Raimi behind it, like, there's never really been anything bad. Even the show,
I loved the TV show. It was so good.
So we got to check it out. If you didn't check out our out of the theater reaction, I mean, I dug it. I think I agree with Justin where he said, I don't think it's better than 2013, but I think it's a real cool piece of the franchise.
It was very well done. I liked it a lot. I do have like my own personal notes. I'll probably do a review on it later after it drops and everybody gets to see it. But there were some things that I had notes about. But other than that, man, this movie was a banger. It was 0 to 100 for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, the setup is a little bit slower. I feel like the 2013 and the other movies have a little bit. It's kind of similar. They set the scene, introduce the characters. These are all characters that have never been in the franchise before, so it's has all of the Evil Dead aesthetic, but it's like new characters, so it's kind of a new journey. But I will say the opening sequence, the cold open.
I was just gonna say
it might be one of my favorites in the entire series. It was so fucking cool when the credits rolled up. I don't want to. Sorry, Pete. Pete, you gotta go, buddy. You gotta move, dude. This is how it is at the house. This is how it is. Running around. There you go. You got Pete running around pulling out the cords. But I will say this movie is if you were looking for like the gory, like the classic gory, brutal, like all of the Evil Dead hallmarks are there.
Yep.
Even
down to the cinematography and camera angles and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's some nostalgic ones that they throw in there just to like get you excited.
the tracking camera
see it
moving
right
through the
away,
woods
yeah.
and things like that. I thought the lead actress to me was the highlight. I thought she was incredible as
She
the
was
mother
amazing. She was my
character.
favorite.
The couple of the side characters, like there's a couple kids, like we've never really had like kids involved in an Evil Dead movie, which I don't know if I
I was
loved or
worried
not.
about it.
What'd you think?
Because normally I don't like to watch kid shit. Like kids
Right.
movies is not my favorite. It's not a jam of mine. I don't like it.
Mhm.
But in this one, I didn't really mind it. It didn't like
Their performances were good.
yeah, it didn't crush my heart or anything.
Yeah. And the hotel, or not the hotel, like being in an apartment complex, it gives the opportunity for the characters to go a few more places and have more characters and stuff. So there's a couple things, I won't spoil anything. There's a couple things that we haven't seen in an Evil Dead movie. There's, more characters, there's some body horror elements that have never really been dipped into in an Evil Dead movie. Overall, I think I need to see it a couple more times to really full on get it.
Mhm.
like a full opinion, but I thought it was pretty fucking awesome.
This was one of those movies where, like, right when it was done, I was like, I want to watch this again, like, right now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely think you guys are gonna dig it. Most of you, I think, are gonna really dig this one. And it's far beyond better than what we got for this poster and stuff. So I'm glad to see that. It really just kind of stood up to what we want, especially in the horror genre. So I think everybody's gonna really kind of dig this one. And that kind of capped off our Friday night because that went on at about 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
That we saw that. So that kind of topped off that night. And then we came home, passed out, and everybody was dead tired. And then Saturday came and we got some food and went back up to Panic Fest. And that's where yesterday we saw so many movies throughout the day.
But wait, we can't miss this story.
Oh, that's a good one.
Friday
Friday
night.
night. Okay.
Friday night we're standing
Oh,
outside
shit.
after Panic Fest. After we watched Evil Dead, it was like what, like 11 mid. It was
No,
probably
it's
midnight.
It's
or
gotta be
something.
past midnight.
We're just standing on the sidewalk chit chatting, got to go our separate ways to our own separate sleeping pads. And then just Barbara Crampton just goes walking by on the sidewalk by herself.
Just walking by.
Just walking by.
Yeah.
And then
Looking incredible.
And then
Yeah.
we said hi, and she stopped and chit chatted with us a little bit, and then she started walking again, and then stopped, and then kind of stood there for a little bit, like with her back turned, and then she kind of went off to her car, which was down the street or whatever. And we were all, mostly Justin and I think, more or less, but we were all pretty much like,
We were starstruck.
why did we miss that opportunity to like not get like a Radpack picture with her? It was like she was all by herself. She didn't say like, oh hey guys, and kept walking. Like she stopped and was literally having conversation. And we're like, why did we just do that? Number one. Number two, we just let her, who's in her 60s, just walk in the middle of Kansas City
In the middle of the night.
in the middle of the night by herself trying to find her car. And I'm like, wow, we're brutal. Like, why didn't we like walk
You
her to
guys
her
were
car?
so focused on being gentlemen by not bothering
That's
her.
what it was.
They literally like let her walk to her car by herself and then just like hated themselves forever.
I just was like so like racked with regret. That's all we were talking about. I can't fucking believe we didn't get a picture with Barbara Crampton. She was like right there, you know.
These guys were like talking about this amongst themselves. I'm over here just like leaning against the fence, just like, what are you guys doing? Are you gonna do something? She's right there. I literally looked at them and I was like, she stopped. She's like giving you an opening.
Yeah.
Like, go do
Yeah.
something.
And you're right, like, and she would have in 2 seconds because we had, we talk about that. We did end up talking to her, meeting her again, but she would have in a second. But like I said, I'm so used to a different environment with like conventions that to just walk up to somebody when they're trying to get to their car, I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna come off like too, in her face, like, hey,
Yeah.
do this. I know you're trying to get home, and that's what I was more or less trying to be like a good guy and just be like, oh, hey, it's cool and let her go. But then we regret it because we're like, are we going to get this opportunity again? Because once you go into an event, there's lines of people trying to meet her and talk to her where we basically had her.
That's why we were kicking ourselves in the ass. It was almost the situation was just dropped. Like it was just such a perfect scenario. But I can say this, like I haven't met a lot of people. I've never been to a convention, but she could not have been nicer. Like she was just like the sweetest person. That was really cool to see that she was just a humble, genuinely nice person. And same with Scout. We had a similar situation with Scout where like she was wandering around the lobby last night after her movie. And then we, Mel, why don't you tell that? Because Mel was sick and tired of us being little bitches, little scared bitches. And she's like, God damn it, guys.
Okay, so we're standing in the fucking lobby, right? And these two are like as soon as they heard that Scout was there, they just started freaking out, right?
Now, listen, I'm not usually like that
And
with
then
anybody. For
clamming
some
up, they were
reason.
freaking out and then clamming up, and I'm just sitting here like, oh my God. So we're out in the lobby, and then she's just like wandering around, like literally like walked by us, like directly by us, and I'm like, go get her, get your girl, blah, blah, blah. And they're just standing there and they're like, should we, nah, we don't want to bother you. I mean, they really were being gentlemen about it, trying
I
not
was
to
scared.
bug people.
I was scared to talk to her.
So I walked over and I grabbed the back of her jacket and I was like, hey, Scout, my buddies are over here crapping their pants. Can you go take a picture with them, please? And she was like, oh my God, yes, of course. So then she walks over with me like she's my bestie. And I was like, hey, guys, my friend's here to meet you. And then she walks up to Justin. She's like, I heard you guys were crapping your pants.
Yeah, she goes, I heard you guys were crapping your pants over here. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. No. But then she was like, get over here. Just threw her arms around us. And she was so fucking nice.
She was. And, I'm a big Scout fan. I always have been. And I don't know what it is. It is something about her. Like, I feel like it was like, I was kind of like, I don't have any issues like talking to people or walking up to people, whatever. No problems at all. I walked up to Danielle Harris. I'm like, hey, let's shoot a video? Like, no problem. But for some reason with Scout, it was like, I was like, I don't even know what to say, to her. But it was, she was super nice, and I've met her before in the past, and she's always been super nice. So again, I think it was just one of those environments, like I said, where it's like, I'm not used to being in a place where there's people walking around that you basically can just be like, hey, sign this, or hey, let's take a picture, and not be like, someone coming up and be like, hey, you can't take a picture of that person or whatever. So definitely different environment, but such a nicer environment, obviously, because they were just so friendly, so nice. And those were the two big, celebrities that we ended up meeting. And the thing is, too, is they gave you a decent amount of time to actually have like conversation. It wasn't just like an assembly line of like meet and greet where you're just like in and out, in and out.
And I have to give, because Joe Lynch was there, we didn't get to meet him. Mel, you had an encounter with Spider-One, but I just think it's cool that they
Can you
weren't.
guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me.
They weren't afraid to. I mean, they knew what this was. They could have not wanted to put themselves in that situation where they're going to be swarmed by fans, but all the fans were really respectful and nice, and they felt comfortable enough to just wander around with, us peasants in the crowd and then talk to everybody. Mel, how was your interaction with Spider-One?
So I really wanted to get a picture with Spider, and the movie, like, we were done, we were over, we were in the front area, the lobby area, yeah. And these guys took off, so I just wanted to hang around and get his autograph. So I'm sitting there, and then here walks KB, comes walking out of the movie theater. I was like, "What are you doing?" And he went back in to get Scout's picture. So I was like, "Okay, well, I'll just go back in there." So I went back in there, and they were all just hanging out in there by themselves. It was Barbara, Scout, Spider. Some of the other people that were working on the movies and stuff were just hanging out in there by themselves. Everybody had left, and they were just like chit-chatting and like walking around and stuff. So I just walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And he was like, "Of course, absolutely." And then he came over and put his arm around me, and we got a picture, and it was really good. And then I just, I didn't want to take up too much of his time, so I left after that. But I was like, "Yes, I did it."
Yeah, it was
I was in it to win. I wanted that picture.
She was, and I have to give her a lot of props with the Scout thing too, because she literally like if she didn't do that, it probably would have just like Scout would have walked by probably 10 times, and we would have stood there like
Starstruck.
Yeah.
But not by.
So no, that was all for her, and then Justin and I talked to her afterwards. But yeah, it's super cool. So the way Saturday kind of started was the first movie we saw on Saturday was what was the name of that one?
Abruptio.
Which was, guys, I think you should definitely look up a trailer for this movie, because it was one of the most wild movies I think I've ever seen. It involves almost like puppets.
Yeah.
And it really reminded me of almost
Weirdest
back in the day, like going to like Chuck E. Cheese or something and having like those like animatronic like humans, which is like just a real creepy in general. And this movie was basically made on all that kind of stuff. And I thought it was just, I think like Justin and I said while we were watching it, this seems like a Vinegar Syndrome partner label release all over. And
What is it?
CHH wants to know where's the brick candle.
it's right behind him. It's right here. Red candle.
I tried to have it in the shot. You got it, buddy.
Look at that.
Where do you put it right up here?
Limited edition. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that one was really cool. The Abruptio was really cool because basically the movie is played straight in every aspect of like a normal movie. It's a real environment. It's characters driving cars and going to grocery stores. It's the only thing that's different is they're not actors, they're puppets. They kind of, what it kind of reminded me of is this is a little old, but like the old Phil Collins videos where they use the puppets and stuff bouncing around and stuff, but it's really gnarly. And we started to recognize a couple of voices, and then when we looked at the credits, it was like Robert Englund, Jordan Peele, Sid Haig, and it has this insane premise, but that I think I don't know where that's going to premiere or whatever, but I would highly recommend seeing Abruptio. Just watch the trailer for Abruptio, and if you like weird shit, it'll be right up your alley because
it's the weirdest shit you're going to see.
I was dozing it out because we went and got this really gnarly brunch. We went to this heavy barbecue breakfast place. I could not stay awake, and it was nothing against the movie at all. We were all so tired from the previous day, you guys traveling, so We were struggling through that one, but then we got through it. And then how did it go after that first movie?
Well, it was funny because I always love Justin's quote when he explains when he saw RRR.
Well, it was actually my co-host Jason said to me before this movie. Yeah,
He said his co-host when they saw RRR, he looked at him and what was the exact word?
he looks at me and he goes, "Forget everything you know about movies."
Yeah. So I love that line. So as soon as that Abruptio started, I'm
It's
like,
true.
what? I look over at him and her and I said, forget everything you know.
Yeah,
Because it really is. It's like, it's nothing like I've ever seen before. And you may love it or hate it, but I just think the uniqueness of it is just something like that. I just think is a real refresh.
Well, I guess we can give a little bit of a premise. You introduced this one guy who was like kind of a down on his luck, miserable, like office drone, and he wakes up to some messages or a note giving him commands that he has to like do certain things because on the back of his neck, he goes back, he puts his hand back and there's stitches and he finds out that somebody has implanted a bomb in his head. And if he doesn't like go to this house to kill somebody, or if he doesn't go to this place and put a bomb or whatever, all kinds of crazy tasks he had to do, his fucking head will blow up. So, but they get really gory. I think because it's puppets, you can do this real extreme, crazy gore and violence, and it's
well, and
kind of
that's
funny.
what I wasn't expecting about it because you see the puppets and you're like, damn, these things look creepy as shit. Like they already look like the world's weirdest puppets you've ever seen.
And they're kind of intentionally lower quality. You could tell they're
Yeah.
foam and
they're better than the garbage pail.
The eyeballs
The
were
eyes
popping
blink at
out.
the same time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The eyes blink. That even makes it a little weird.
But then they add this incredible gore factor to it, and it's heightened to an incredible level that you're just like, what am I watching? This is the most insane thing I'm seeing right now. And I liked it for that alone.
Mm-hmm.
it is a perfect Vinegar Syndrome partner label. I hope they are able to get distribution. Now that a couple of the other ones we know when and where it'll premiere, but that one I don't know. Just keep a lookout for it indefinitely. Like I give that one a really high recommendation. Abruptio.
I agree. And then it started the Christian said your T2 cabinet was built.
Hell yeah, brother.
I was playing that yesterday.
So yeah, then the next one we saw was the Barbara Crampton one, right? We saw From Beyond. They put the 4K on and in the theater, and man, From Beyond, and it was
Joe Lynch introduced the movie. It was Joe Lynch, Barbara Crampton were there, and they hosted that screening. And this was the 4K. It's the Vinegar Syndrome, the Vinegar Syndrome restoration. What did you guys think revisiting that movie? Because I hadn't seen it in a really long time.
It made me really appreciate it a lot more than I think I was. Like I always liked it, but I haven't watched my 4K from Vinegar Syndrome yet. So this was my first time watching it. And the last time I probably saw that movie was maybe when the Blu-ray came out from Scream Factory, which is probably a good 5 to 6 years ago at this point. And, obviously I've seen it growing up and stuff, and I always liked it. I always prefer Reanimator. They always kind of feel one and the same to me because of the cast and the crazy colors and all that stuff. But watching it again in the 4K and all this stuff, it's such a good movie. It really just embraces like a lot of what I like about 80s horror, like the effects and those like the body horror with all the crazy monsters and stuff and the neons and stuff. Like I just loved it. Like, what did you guys?
Yeah, the color palette of that movie is absolutely amazing. But I from a lady standpoint, I was kind of thinking more about Barbara because she's literally sitting in the audience with us watching this movie. And she has that scene where the monster like rips her shirt off and chest is hanging out. And I'm just like, I want like
and the leather scene and stuff.
Yeah, and the leather. Oh my god, yeah, and the leather scene with Jeffrey Combs. And I'm just like, she probably is so used to watching this movie in a theater with people, it probably doesn't even phase her anymore. But like that first viewing, you're just like.
Did you notice? So also another cool aspect of this is you're seeing it with a really rowdy crowd. And one thing I noticed about that is the audience was reacting and laughing and to everything, but
screaming sometimes. Like there was this girl in the back of the theater,
like she must have never seen it before.
Like anytime something gory or anytime you see the monster, she was like.
But that kind of added to the whole experience.
I mean, it really did, but I was just like, oh shit, like what is going on here?
But I thought when those spicy scenes came up with Barbara, I was like, is everybody gonna freak out? And I think they were quiet on those scenes. They're like, Barbara's here, because nobody was like, ooh, or anything like that, because they're like, Barbara's here, let's be respectful.
Well, and then when she did something like kick ass in the movie, people would be like,
yeah. When her name came up on the screen, everybody, freaked out, and it's so cool seeing that with her.
It was cool, and like Mel said, that woman in the back like screaming and stuff. Like what I liked about that was it added to the watching experience, because you're thinking about like this movie that came out that long ago, for someone who's never seen it for the first time to actually still have that kind of effect. Like,
And it's fucking weird.
It's
man.
crazy to just to
so
see that. You know?
fucking weird. The little like
Combs bald with the little
the
thing coming out of his
thing,
head.
like when the nurse or the doctor's in there, and she's trying to like grab it, and it just goes.
Yeah. When Barbara bites it off, the crowd
Yeah, that was
exploded.
awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, imagine, like you said, the awkwardness of some of the scenes with Barbara, where you kind of like, oh, I wonder what she's thinking. I'm sure she's probably done the same thing with Reanimator, with other people. And I'm thinking that's even worse for her to be watching, along with everybody. But yeah, that was From Beyond, which we've all seen, but I think just the experience of seeing it on the big screen with Barbara Crampton there.
Then they did a Q&A.
And then did a Q&A afterwards. And then they, two things happened. Then they said, okay, well, we're going to do a double feature with, oh man, now I forget the name of the movie.
We Are Still Here.
We Are Still Here, which.
And they were like, it was a separate ticket on the site, but they were like, surprise, if you want to stay and watch this one, it's a Cramptonathon.
Yeah.
And I had never seen that movie. You guys have seen it.
I didn't see it either.
Okay, yeah. And what'd you think of it?
So out of all the movies that we saw this entire weekend, that movie had the most jump scares for me.
It had a
normally
vibe.
I can sit through a movie and not get jump scared, but that first scene where they like walk up to the door and it's building suspense, right? But you think they're gonna build it for longer, and they don't. They shut that door right away in that guy's or that person's face, and that scared the shit out of me for some reason. I had at least 3 jump scares in that movie.
It was a really creepy ghost story. It really reminded me of early Ty West, House of the Devil. It has that vibe, a lot of cool shit, and a really good performance from Crampton. Like she's a more subdued, and it's just a really good ghost story. Joe Lynch was cracking on her.
And it aged her a lot in that, I feel like, because I feel like she looks younger last night than she did in that movie, which came out I think in 2015.
She looked like
a
grandma.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what she was supposed to look like, though, because like her counterparts in the movie were all older people too, though.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a cool movie, and like I said, I've seen it when it came out. I own it, but I have not watched that movie since probably 2015. So it's the second time I've ever seen it, and I agree. It's definitely a cool one, a little more current, modern horror. And then what they did afterwards, and we can't really talk too much about it. We can just say that Joe Lynch and Barbara Crampton are working together right now in a movie, another H.P. Lovecraft story, or Stuart Gordon.
It was right after Stuart Gordon died, Crampton, who is now producing movies, went up to Stuart Gordon's co-writer and his co-producer and said, "Do you have anything that you and Stuart were working on that you'd like to get going?" And they had this script. So this could have potentially been a Stuart Gordon film, but it just wasn't made. So she got Joe Lynch on board and made this movie. And the cast looks awesome. They showed the first maybe 5-10 minutes of the movie, and it looked fucking great.
Was so cool that they did that.
Heather Graham.
So
Heather Graham's in it.
I thought maybe that was the reason why Scout was there. I didn't realize she was in the other movies. And I was like, oh, maybe she's in this one. And
I thought
she was here.
Yeah.
And but yeah, when Heather Graham turned around, I was like, oh shit, I haven't seen her movie in forever.
I thought that was going to be Scout. I thought that was Scout in that little scene when Heather.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But man, that movie looks.
They made a big deal about it. They played this little bit where Joe was like, "Can I show this movie?" And Barbara's like, "No, we can't show it. We can't show it." But then they did a bit, and they brought out people to walk up and down the aisles
to make sure nobody was filming, because this was the first time it's ever been shown.
It's not even done.
They said I think there's a week left of filming, and they said they spliced together a little piece at the beginning with a kind of a mock trailer type thing about some of the scenes. And they were pretty adamant about that. They basically had people at every aisle looking down to make sure nobody was recording it, because it was no one knows about it really right now.
The movie's called Suitable Flesh. That's the title of the movie. He said he was going for kind of an old school 90s Brian De Palma.
Did he say when it was going to be dropped at all, or did he mention anything about that?
I don't think so.
I'm super excited to see that.
Yeah, it looked really cool. That was another surprise that we just didn't have any idea was going to happen.
Yeah, and then so that was really cool. And then that kind of topped off the night, like you said. We met Scout. She was a surprise guest because the last film that we watched last night was a movie that Spider One, Rob Zombie's brother, right, from Power Man 5000, he directed, and it was called Bury the Bride. Is that what it's called? and Scout was like the lead, and had another pretty good cast in there. But this was the first time this movie was ever shown, and
World premiere.
Scout hadn't even seen it. They said
Mhm.
Scout hasn't even seen the final product of this, so it was the first time she was checking it out. And man, this one to me was like the sneak attack of the night.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about. I guess Spider has done another movie called like Ingorium or something.
Allegory.
Allegorium. I have never seen it. I don't know if anybody in the chat has. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't seen it.
So this was like his second movie, and I wasn't sure what to expect from him, like as a director or writer or anything like that. And I thought that this movie was pretty damn awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was definitely up my alley with the style of movie it was. Like I said, obviously I love a lot of the stuff that Scout does, but I just think overall this movie was one of those things where you don't really get movies that really swerve you anymore, like this one did. And this movie is going to be, they said, on Tubi very soon. And as far as any kind of like physical media release, they didn't say anything about that. But what they did ask is if people really dug this one to hashtag bury the bride all over socials, because the more that people do that, the more people like hype it or like it, the more there's more possibilities for this movie as far as physical media releases.
And this is
I would like a physical media release.
yeah, I would buy this in a second. It's a movie. It's the basic premise, and you can't talk about this movie a lot because
I was gonna say, because
there's something
quite,
happens.
like Garrett said, a swerve in there that caught everybody.
I had
off
no
guard.
idea what was going to happen with it. It's
Yeah.
about a group of girls who go to do a bachelorette party in this like remote area, and this is in the log line description of the movie. They go to a place, and her fiance shows up to the bachelorette party. And that's really all you need to know about it. But the performances are great. The chemistry between the girls were all really good. Scout's the lead, and there's a couple of other. I thought all the performances were pretty damn good.
The saucy girl was my favorite.
Yeah, she was fun. She was fun.
I thought this was awesome, and I don't know if there's a trailer for this out there, but I would even highly recommend not to watch the trailer because I don't know what it shows.
I hope it doesn't show a lot.
I would say you have to go into this blind. Tubi is going to have it out, they said, pretty soon.
Next week.
KB says April 21st.
April 21st. Okay, so that's next week. It's going to debut on Tubi.
Watch it.
We recommend you guys watch it. Definitely Radpack approved over here. It was a real cool movie. And like you said, I'm hoping this does get a physical media release because I just thought this to get swerved that way and to kind of figure out what was going on, really just took me back to what we had in like the early 90s or 80s when it came to swerves. And it's funny because there was at one point Justin like leans over to me and he goes, I don't know where this movie's going to go because of the way it kind of was setting things up. He's like, I don't really know where this is going. And then it just kind of like,
I was like, something's going to have to happen here because this is just too
like by the book kind of.
Yeah, I was like, something's got to pop off here. And then they did a Q&A afterwards, which was cool. So you had Scout, you had Chaz Bono, which is Sonny Bono and Cher's kid. He's in the movie.
They said his name and I was like, man, yeah, that's not familiar.
Yeah. And then Chrissy Fox, who I wasn't familiar with, she seemed cool as hell.
Yeah.
And that Q&A was hosted by Nightmare on Film Street. So they had that podcast interviewed the cast, and it was Scout, Chrissy, and Chaz, and Spider-One. Who I didn't really know anything about Spider-One. I'm like, why is his name Spider-One? And you're like, he's the singer for Power Man 5000, Rob Zombie's brother. I was like, what the fuck? No shit. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw him earlier I think on Saturday, and I think I said something to her, and I said, I think that's Spider from Power Man 5000 over there. And then she looked it up and she goes, oh, I think that is him. And then we realized that movie was being debuted later that next day. So yeah,
that was co-written by him and Chrissy Fox, who also is like the second lead in the movie. I wasn't familiar with her. I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Oh no, she was amazing. I never heard of her before,
I
but
think she's an Underworld movie. She's been in some stuff, but yeah, she was great too. And that's the thing with those type of movies when you have a group of girls, like it can very quickly become like cheesy and cliche.
it's super annoying.
And annoying as fuck, yeah. But there was
I'll say it. It's fine.
for sure. But they were like cool. They had kind of the archetype. They had like the hot chick. They had Scout, the more reserved girl, the nerdy girl. They had them all there, but somehow it
The
just
sister
didn't work.
drama.
Yeah, the sister drama, all that shit. But the chemistry was great. And
No, all of them were great. Actually, every single one of those girls and their own personalities.
Yeah.
They did their characters so well. Like some of them had some funny lines. Like the chick with the glasses. Like she was hilarious to me.
She was great.
Yeah.
The drunk scene, and I guess they filmed that in 6 days.
Yeah.
out in the desert. They were shooting like 12 pages a day, just running 18
And it
hours
was
a day.
cold at night, and it was
Mhm.
like one of those situations which some of those girls were running around wearing
Yeah.
so much. So
I can't
that's
wait to watch that
probably-
one again. I'm gonna watch that when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was what was so wild on the Q&A, and they were talking about the movie. They said they filmed this in 7 days.
Yeah, that's
This movie
nuts.
was done in and out, and it's like wild to see that. Like they did, and I don't know what the budget was on this, but I feel like they did a lot for whatever they probably had.
It looked, the cinematography looked great. And they had a bunch of different scenes and stuff, and like place. Well, I guess there was like a couple different places, but they made it look like there was distance and like lots of area. So yeah. It was really good.
So that kind of, capped off Panic Fest for this weekend. And I know today we're going to try, I mean, there's a lot going on. We might try to go back, catch some movies.
No peekaboo.
Might try to see Renfield. And then I know we're all thinking about maybe doing some more standalone reviews on some of these movies on our own channels and stuff. But that kind of really capped off as far as the Panic Fest event last night, which again, never going to one of these. We don't really have events like this around me that I know of. So it was a really cool experience to just see all those people there to just, watch these new movies and kind of critique them and be the first to talk about it. So
Yeah.
did you?
Well, my Panic Fest experience ends today. I'm going home today, but Garrett's hanging out until tomorrow. So these two are going to go see some more movies today, right?
Yeah, we're going to probably
They're
meet
going to
up
have their bro time.
with KB again. Which, speaking of KB, I'll give another shout out. So a couple of the things on Saturday that after the whole Barbara Crampton experience on Friday, we feel like we really missed our opportunity. We had some goals that we wanted to do that day, and I was like, all right, we got to meet Barbara Crampton again. We got to get a picture with her, blah, blah. And then I said they had these cool Panic Fest cards, like collector's cards, where if you had one, you could get someone to sign it if you met them. And the problem was with those cards is that you had to buy like this mystery box, and inside the mystery box was going to be a random card. It could have been of Barbara Crampton, it could have been of Joe Lynch, it could have been of someone else, and you just didn't know which one it would come with. And I really wanted the Barbara Crampton one. Well, I don't even know how this came about, but KB came up to me and said, "Hey, I got you a card, the Barbara Crampton card." And then I did go and get her to sign it, which I don't know if you guys can see it good here, but it's pretty rad. It's just something different. It's got the Panic Fest logo on the back, and it's like almost just a collector card with a spot down there for her to sign. So definitely cool that I was able to get that, because that was kind of on my bucket list when I saw them advertise, on Panic Fest's Instagram a couple weeks ago. So big shout out to KB again for getting me that card to get signed. So do you guys have anything you want to say about the event? And then we can chat a little bit with the chat and then go into some giveaways that we have here.
I think we pretty much said it. I mean, it was fun. I'd come and do it again. for
Yeah,
sure.
that was just a blast. And meeting you guys finally in person was rad. I'm so glad that worked out.
Yeah. Next time we do this, though, we should get more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to make Kansas City a destination like
I'm
this,
sure
because
you would.
it's definitely cool. I mean,
It's easy for
there's
him.
tons there's tons to do, and honestly though, it's a very unique film festival. There's not a lot of things like this. It's extremely unique, and they worked really hard to make it as big and bad as they possibly can. And it was just so fucking cool. And there's a whole nother week. This runs all the way through next weekend, so it's really cool. And also, there is options for people if you can't come in person. They have online tickets for a lot of these movies, not all of them, but many of them. You could buy an online pass or a hybrid pass, which is what we got, where you
Yeah.
can get the in-person and, but you can watch most of these movies online. You buy
You can watch them virtual.
virtual. Yeah, there's a virtual ticket that you can get too. So, if you want to check out Panic Fest next year or something like that, you can, and you can't make it, get a virtual ticket, and at least you can watch the movies.
Yeah. Well, and I want to give a shout out to the people running Panic Fest and every single person working there, even down to the people getting the popcorn. Everybody was super nice and cool, and like we didn't have a problem with anybody.
No,
It was
Yeah,
just very
working their asses
cordial, and yeah, working their asses off. A lot of them would come into the auditoriums and like do stuff at the before and after the shows, like
Yeah.
about stage
Nightmare
stuff.
Junkhead is a Kansas City-based podcast. You can check out their podcast, and they're a big part of the fest too. They host a lot of screenings, and they were helping coordinate. And yeah, the crew that they put together really made it go as smooth as possible.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Fuck yeah.
So I was talking to him earlier. We mentioned it briefly yesterday, I think, but they'd never been to a car convention or anything before. So I was even thinking maybe next time we do, like, if we ever want to do this kind of meetup thing again, Monster Mania is in Jersey. I don't know what that's like. I knew she was going to say that.
They're finding out quickly how much of a smart ass I am.
A weak thing. I don't know. We're not sure. But yeah, it might
I'll
be
let
something
me
to think about maybe for next year or something to kind of all meet up in like Jersey. I usually meet up with a lot of friends down there, and we hit up like Monster Mania, which is a big East Coast convention. Like they just had one this weekend with like some of the Lost Boys there and stuff. So to have that experience, which again is very different than what we just did, because you know this one is a the convention scene is a little more of like a money sucker kind of thing. Where this is like you pay one big fee and then you kind of get everything, all the perks.
Yeah.
You know,
So
so
you literally walk up, show your badge, and get tickets to every single movie you're doing.
right. So it is very different, but it might be a cool little change of scenery to kind of do something like this again. But with that being said, we also,
You know, butterflies on snow. We're gonna do that for you.
We should.
I mean, it's a possibility that we do
I'm
as far as this event or maybe something different. And
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna say we're gonna do this event again, but it might not be like every year. Maybe next year we do the convention, and then the year after that we do something else. I don't know, but I'm sure we'll do this again.
Oh,
I
100%.
absolutely love this.
Long as
Unless-
Mel isn't sick of
I was
it.
gonna say when she leaves later tonight and is driving all hours of the night to get
Can't
home,
stand those guys.
and then shoots us a message and says like, "This was cool, guys, but probably not gonna do
Just
this again."
all the whole 5 hours. I'm like, fuck those guys. This was a nightmare. Next year I'm gonna go and I'm not gonna tell them I'm gonna be there.
You guys are like,
Hit me up, me and you, bro.
you guys are a lot cooler on the screen.
You guys
than
are
you
so
in
much
person.
cooler on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Maybe, who knows? We'll find out. If we don't do this again, that's probably why. But yeah. So we also kind of said to you guys, because obviously this channel right now,
Sorry.
Tim's talking. Yeah, Tim's down there. I've been talking to him about trying to do a meetup. Yes, that would be huge. We'll work on it maybe for next year. Obviously, you know, this channel right now, the Radpack channel, is new. You can follow Mel at My Killer Podcast, myself at Born to Be Rad, Justin at Movie Watch Daily, and the Dead Couch. But we decided to create its own brand, the Radpack brand, the channel. So we do have a lot of people watching right now, and we know we all have a decent amount of subs, but to get everybody onto this channel, because this is exclusive where you're going to find a lot of these Radpack videos, make sure you check it out to make sure you're subbed, because there's a lot of people that will watch these shows through links that we're sending like out on Instagram and not even realize that it's a different channel that they're watching on. So make sure you're subs to this channel, guys, for sure. Feel free to share this up. And
Like the stream.
like the stream for sure. And we also put it out there because now we're an audio podcast. So you'll hear bits and pieces of this. I think we're going to try to crop this and make it like a Panic Fest talk audio form on the podcast. And I know a lot of people are liking the audio versions of the podcast that we're putting out. And so we put out there, hey, if anybody wants to leave us a review on iTunes, that really helps kind of spread the word about the new podcast. Then we're going to do something special with some giveaways and stuff. And knowing that we were going to be here together for the first time, and could be the only time, who knows, but people really dig like these little like mock posters that we do with like, you know, different movies, and we put ourselves on them and stuff. And people have asked me before, like, are those ever going to be posters? Well, that's what we decided to do. And then we figured, since we're here, maybe we'll sign some of these up and then use them as giveaways. And to qualify was to give us a review on iTunes. And I know a lot of people were trying and were having a tough time doing it, because I think you said sometimes it takes a couple days to register once Apple.
Yeah, like once you drop a review on there, I think Apple reviews them. I'm pretty sure that that's what they do, and then they'll pop up later. They don't pop up instantly. I know Dude Who Loves Movies was trying to do a review, and his just never ended up popping up. So I don't know why that happened. So if you guys have ever done a review and then later went back and seen that it didn't pop up, I'm not sure why that's happening.
So I just started telling people to screenshot it and then send it to us so we know that it's done. And it might just take like a couple days to get on the site. But so we thought it would be pretty cool to kind of do like a little raffle and then send you guys some of these. So we have 6 available right now for tonight. And you've got the Weekend at Justin's, and then you've got the Think Radpack one as well. So we kind of worked on those this weekend. And we're going to do like a little raffle for 6 people to get some of these prints here. And again, will these be available in the future? Sure, we can probably make it happen if people really like the prints, but as far as the signature thing, it might be limited, pretty different. So Mel, she did this real cool thing here, so we can pick some winners now, guys.
So everybody that left a review on the Apple Podcast website, or at least screenshot and told us they did a review, we put on the wheel of death here. And I don't know how you guys want to do it. Do you want to spin it and whoever it picks is the winner, or do you want to like spin it until they're going?
How about this? Why don't we
I think we should also do some chat giveaways too, not just the wheel.
okay, so then
People
let's
rolled
do
into the stream for us.
let's do, so we'll do 2 for chat things, and then we'll do 4 for the wheel.
The third.
Yeah. All right, let's see who the first winner is. Yeah. After a while, the winner number 1. So if you're in the chat right now, just do it in the chat and let us know which one you want. Do you want Think Radpack, or do you want Weekend at Justin's? And then let us know in the chat, and we'll put that one aside for you. And if you're not in the chat and you win, then you're just going to get whatever's left over. Okay?
Yeah, because I don't remember seeing that. You have to draw one of them, right?
Yeah, we might as well just get for it.
Here we go.
Here, make sure I keep that down there after.
Yeah, make sure you keep that.
Maybe have them send you something on. We'll figure out something. Send a DM on Instagram.
Oh, dude. Cody, let me know which one you want in there, bud. I'm just gonna record it down here. So we got Afro and Dude. Because you guys need to contact me probably on Instagram and just let me know where to send this.
All right, next one.
There you go.
I know.
There you go.
It's so exciting.
Is it gonna be
Hot cat one.
Hot Cat One?
Same thing. Let us know. I don't know who that is, so just make sure to message me on IG.
All right, this is the last one for the wheel, right?
Last one for
Last
the
one
wheel.
for the wheel. Good luck.
Is it gonna be where it stops? No one knows.
Jader.
Jake Garrett.
Congratulations to all of our winners.
Yeah, let us know if you're in the chat right now which one you want, and then the rest will just be on the leftover list. Okay, if you want to figure out something about to do in the chat, like
Well, so we got what, 2 left over?
yeah, we have 2. We'll go one of each.
Well, for these winners,
Let me
let
ask
us.
some questions.
If they're, I'm assuming these people are in the chat, right? Have you seen these people? Because maybe is your email listed in the description of Radpack? So
Should
email,
I
Instagram.
don't know that I've seen anybody that has won in the chat.
Okay.
So
That's right. We'll figure it.
We'll do some Instagram stories or something. We'll figure it
And
out.
if you're watching on the replay, gang, just get at me. You can get at me on Instagram, or there's an email that'll be in the description of this video that you can email us.
Some people might not have known that we rescheduled the stream, so
yeah, again, sorry about that. But you guys just want to like ask a question?
Sure.
yeah. How do you want to do the chat winner? Should we do a
How
question?
old is Justin?
No, we don't wanna do that. No. Everybody knows I'm 27. It's no mystery.
I'm just kidding.
How many movies did we watch this weekend so far?
Wait, do we know the answer?
Yeah, we do. We just talked about it. I know. You know.
What's Justin's dog's name? That's a piece.
All right, we'll make that.
Okay, what's Justin's dog's name?
That's for the fans. Who's that?
It ain't no butterfly.
Somebody else in 22. So
There we go.
ready?
22 is correct.
Oh, Nick said Pete.
There
Was he the first one? Yeah, he was the first one.
All right, Nick. Let me know which one you want, buddy.
Got it, bud.
Ain't no butterflies, you're cracking me up. Nothing.
50. I'm at 50.
Love it.
So what's the next one?
All right, Nick, hit us up. All right, last question.
Who's your favorite member of the? No.
Yes.
We need some-
Well, that's not really the question.
No, that's not the question. I guess
Make it a little harder.
we didn't really think this out. Oh, I got a good one.
Ooh.
This might be kind of hard. What was the Radpack's? And maybe I don't even know this one. What was the Radpack's first episode?
Okay, that's cool. Radpack's first
Garrett
episode
knows it.
Oh,
ever. Which,
I hope so.
guys, do you realize it's not even been a full year yet?
Wait,
Isn't that
what?
wild? This hasn't even been a full year of us doing it.
Has it been a year since your 1,000 subs?
My 1,000 stream, I think, was the beginning of May.
Is that the first time we rolled in on camera together?
I think
Yes.
so.
Yeah. So that doesn't count though. The first actual Radpack not on this channel, but us as the Rat.
It was a
That could've
very
been a
long
tricky
one.
question.
Yeah, us as the Rat Pack. The first official Rat Pack video was, and that would have been on my channel. I think that was in late May.
This is your favorite Radpack member?
What do you say?
Brad.
Be right.
People didn't even hesitate. They were just like, Mel.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
We knew that was gonna be.
Actually, fuck you, Nick.
Well, she doesn't like when anybody chooses anybody else. Like Justin, let's for you.
Actually, Justin was the first name. He is the favorite of the pack. You should have heard him the other night when he was like, I have 100 and some shots I haven't even looked at yet.
I wasn't checking.
I was like, I've never had 100 DMs
It
in my
wasn't
life.
literally 100.
Put it this way: if you ever want a question answered, get at us first. Justin ain't answering anything. Justin sometimes will look at a question and like block you. I don't want to answer this. Block.
Troublemakers.
Okay, let's see.
It's just sitting there chilled back.
Wait, I don't know. What was that?
Is anybody?
The first ever
John
episode.
says Camp Rad and Nina Butterfly says Camp.
That was an early one.
Camp was an early one, yeah, but it wasn't the first one.
Said Askeson.
No.
None of those are right.
No,
This
you don't
one
even
may
know.
be a little tougher.
I don't know.
I will say this, and I'll spoil this. It wasn't Camp Rat Pack.
No.
That was a very early one, but it wasn't Camp Rat Pack.
Camp Radpack was a good one though. We're gonna go back to Camp Radpack.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to camp this summer.
Nelson doesn't know, does she?
I don't. I'm about to go.
We were just talking about it before we went on because you said it was our longest stream.
It was our longest stream we've ever done.
Was I a
It
part
was
of
like
that
a
conversation?
full Joe Rogan episode. It's like 3 hours or more. If that one's too tough, we can think of something else.
Anybody else have a good- I'm like about to try and figure it out.
Yeah, that's technically that's when we first kind of made it. But what's the first actual one where we did a specific show just with us?
Oh, John Dirksen. Okay, sorry, buddy. Which one do you want?
AV, you're close. But what was the episode? What did we cover?
Here's one. People know this because Mel's the favorite. What is Mel's favorite vampire movie? Is it Fright Night or Lost Boys? Fright Night or Lost Boys? There's only one. There can be only one.
I was thinking that,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to say it.
That's a little bit easier.
No, let him. Yeah, go dig for it, will you? Go dig.
Oh, do you want to keep it
Yeah.
the
Dirk
first
wants a
one?
weekend poster. So that's yours, buddy. You got it.
Okay, Dirk.
Okay, so we're sticking with the first. We're sticking to our guns. What's the first episode of the Radpack? And you'll have to go to the other
Wait, are we
episodes.
sticking to that because people
Yeah.
are answering?
No, let's stick to that. Let's make it
Oh,
work.
Garrett's sticking to the guns.
Let's make 'em work a little
Sticking,
You guys are so right, though.
okay. It is Friday night, so you guys all got that right. Okay, so we're gonna keep the tough question. You're just gonna have to
You
dig.
all are winners.
Yeah, you guys gonna have to
It's
dig
on Born to Be
around.
Rad. It's on the Born to Be Rad channel if you really need to do some studying. I'm disappointed in you guys. You guys should know
Yeah, the
first
first ever.
episode.
And then if you guys go back, you might be like, oh, you know what? I never watched this one, so you never watch it again. But you know, it was the first time we were all together, so it was a little bit.
But again, make sure you're subbed to this Radpack channel because this is where you find all Radpack content from here forward. It's all going to be exclusively on the Radpack channel.
All right, we'll let them kind of do that, and we'll just kind of, as we start to, wind down here, we'll just kind of talk about, is there anything that's coming up on your channel that you know of?
No.
Are you going to do some reviews maybe on some of the stuff you saw? Or no?
Yeah, I was thinking about doing some videos about Panic Fest and whatnot, just to keep the hype for it going because it's still going on now and it's gonna go on for what, another week and a half, too.
You might watch some virtual or
I'm
something
gonna
too.
watch some virtual movies because I got the hybrid pass. I'm excited for a couple of them because when you're sitting in the theater and before the movie starts, it flashes up scenes from the other movies and some of them look really good. And I'm excited about them. So there'll be more Panic content coming from me. I just don't know what when.
I'm sure I'll pick a handful of movies and do some reviews this week. There's some I really want to talk about. I'm sure Evil Dead. I definitely want to do a standalone review for Bury the Bride. I really want to try to pimp that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna see Renfield and Evil Dead and all that shit.
Mhm.
But I'll definitely do a review for that, and I'll probably shout out Abruptio. Even though I fell asleep.
Side hustle.
What's up, brother?
I did it.
Did we look at Justin's medicine cabinet? No. Justin's pad over there, he cleaned it up really nice, actually.
Yeah, this place is actually really cool, but he has a creepy room upstairs.
Don't open his
That's
door.
Justin's bad room.
Don't open his door.
Justin has
Any
a
reason.
naughty room
That
upstairs.
needs to
You
be
don't want us going.
a mock movie poster. Justin's bad room.
We need to
A
make
hand
that happen.
creeping out of the
We
door.
should each have our own movie poster, and
Yeah.
this can be Justin's bad.
You had a bad room in your Airbnb. You kind of had a mirror.
Oh, I was staying in a mirrored Airbnb.
When you open a door and it's just like a
It was very.
It's like the
exciting.
barbarian
I had
basement.
a paranormal shower experience
Yeah.
and a mirrored room in there.
but
I survived. It's fine.
yeah, same thing like what Justin was saying, and I'll probably do actually, I mean, who knows? Maybe Justin and I tonight, maybe we'll do like a dual Evil Dead full spoiler, non-spoiler review. If
Really?
we feel up to it. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
You're gonna do your own, right? You said you were.
That's not a fucking word.
Well, we need something to do here. And then I'll probably do another one on Bury the Bride as well. And then on Wednesday, I think it is, I'm doing the Evil Dead, the history of Evil Dead on physical media with Dead Dead on the channel too. So those are the ones that I have coming up this week. And then I think, is it this week that we have something with Christian, or is that next week?
It's not this week. It's not.
Okay, we have something. I don't know. Plan to CHH's channel next week, I think. So I think that's all that we really have. That's already scheduled, and everything else will just kind of be playing by ear because it was hard for us to schedule stuff because of this weekend, and we weren't sure how it was going to be. So, but yeah, you can expect that on all of our individual channels, like Mel at Michael Podcast, me at Born to Be Rad, and Justin who works daily at Dead Couch. What is Fish saying over there?
Fish! Winner, chicken dinner.
Fish won, brother. Tell us which poster you want, man. The first official Radpack video was Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
So if you want to go back and check that out, we called it Rad Recommendation Teen Wolf because we all really just dig that movie so much, and we just kind of run through it and talk about it and our experiences and nostalgia with it. So Fish, nice work, man. Let us know what yours.
It's rad. Nick, you already want to post.
Here
Here
you go. Did anybody else
Fish.
in there say which poster they wanted before we So-
Yeah, Jay Dirk said he wanted to leave it one.
Okay. Did Nick say anything?
Nick, did you tell us which poster you wanted?
But just let us know in the comments, guys. Leave a comment if you won any of these posters and you're watching it
Oh
on the
wait,
replay.
Nick said we can adjust it.
Okay.
Nick, just confirm that that's the
Uh,
one that you want.
Just leave it in the comments and then hit me up on Instagram or by email because, like I said, it's first come, first serve when it comes to which ones you're going to get, just because we have a limited of each.
Well, Fish wants to we can adjust it.
Wow, it's about it.
Dang, I thought the license was already.
I know, me too.
done.
And we have, and also too, we have a lot of other poster ideas in the works, so keep your eye on those
Let us
Well,
know if
since
you
we're-
like this idea.
of the poster
Before,
situation.
yeah, before Garrett goes and spends the best.
Well, one thing.
I think the hardest thing is not even that; it's the shipping because I don't know if it's easier to ship these rolled because they're kind of a thicker paper,
Yeah, these
Or
are
if I
actually
should-
really nice quality.
or if I should try to put them in a flat cardboard and then in an envelope. But I don't know what the best case scenario is for these and the pricing on all that. So I got to really try to figure that out as well.
Well, one thing we're trying to do is really, really promote this channel. So maybe we'll do some recommendations by sharing Radpack stuff in the stories and really trying to push you guys sharing the Radpack channel. So incentivize that with some more giveaways.
Yeah,
and
for
stuff.
sure. for sure, because we each are going to have an extra one that we're going to use for other things as well. So, and that too, we can always make different ones. Like I said, they're not going to be signed, but if you guys like this idea, then we can do a couple more of these. And
We have tons of
Maybe-
these designs. You've probably done 10 to 15.
yeah, and I have a couple
Yeah.
more that I'm working on right now. So, but yeah, you guys can do that as well. And yeah, like he said, promote this channel because we each have a pretty big following on our pages, but I don't think everybody's really transitioned over to this channel yet. So if you guys check it right now, if you're not subbed, please do share this around. I'll let them know that the Radpack has its own channel now, and obviously the audio podcast as well. We're going to kind of wrap it up unless you guys have anything else you want to say. We definitely appreciate you guys popping on like a Sunday afternoon. This is not usually when we do it, but honestly,
I like it.
this might have been like one of the bigger live crowds that we've had since we've started this channel. Like when we were doing it on my channel, we had a bigger crowd, but since we did it this channel, like it's maybe because there's nobody else streaming right now.
If
So
you guys,
everybody's coming over here.
I'll say this.
Well,
If you
this
guys,
was kind of a big deal. It's our first
Yeah,
right, it was.
screen
It is.
together situation.
but I will say, if you guys like the Sunday streams, I would like to do them on Sunday. I think it's kind of fun. So I'm just throwing it out
Radpack
there.
meeting. Okay.
Yeah, we have a Radpack meeting.
Pack meeting after this.
But yeah, guys, if you have anything else you want to add to it, basically we're gonna kind of wrap this up only because we want to make sure to get a couple other things done before she's gonna head out. So let us
We
know.
gotta go get some ice. We gotta go get some jam custard.
Yeah,
right?
She's been asking for it all week. We gotta do it. We gotta do it.
Maybe we'll do a little Instagram live or something from Andy's and show you what we got. If anybody knows what's up on Andy's, it's kind of a Midwest thing. Let us know. Shout that out in the comments. Fucking fire.
But you guys good? You got anything else you want to add to it?
Now stay tuned for
No,
all of
I
our
think
channels. I'm
that's
sure
it.
we'll all at least do some kind of follow-up video on all of our own channels.
Yeah, we'll have panic stuff
Yeah.
going on throughout the week. But thank you so much for everybody that joined the stream and hung with us, even though we had to cancel last night. It was kind of a thing, and we appreciate all your support.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, again, like we said, we definitely appreciate your support and being cool with us having to change this up. And thank you for everybody checking this thing out. It's been a real cool weekend, finally, meeting everybody in person and it just being something totally different that we never knew we were really going to do. It was just kind of like a random idea. And we're like, all right, let's do it. And everybody was kind of down. So thank you guys for making this happen for sure.
You're
Justin,
welcome.
thanks for the hospitality.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But this is the Radpack signing out. And like always, stay rad.
Stay weird.
Stay killer.